It's no secret Donald Trump and the far-right media continue to operate as one big machine, continuously pushing out false narratives, conspiracy theories, and the big lie, all the while ignoring its impact on our democracy and descent into further chaos and peril. So, what can the real news media do to dispel this information? For that, I want to bring in former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson. Gretchen, it's great to see you. Appreciate that so much. Let's listen to what has been coming out of Fox lately as tensions between Ukraine and Russia escalate. Let's listen to Tucker Carlson.
But why would we take Ukraine's side and not Russia's side? It's a sincere question. If you're looking from the American perspective, no, but why? I mean, who's got the energy reserves? Who's the major player in world affairs? Who's the potential counterbalance against China, which is the actual threat? Why would we take Ukraine's side? Why wouldn't we on Russia's side? I'm totally confused.
Well, clearly, Ukraine is a democracy. Russia is an authoritarian regime that is seeking to impose its will upon a validly elected democracy in Ukraine. And we're on the side of democracy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing for democracy in other countries, I guess.
And Gretchen, an Axios report highlights how House Republicans are parroting Tucker Carlson's pro-Russian stance. Why do you think Tucker does this? And why do the Murdochs allow it? Do they not even care, or is it just about money and ratings, do you think?
Ratings, I think, first and foremost, but this is the result of fake news. You know, we're seeing not only the fallout from fake news during the Trump era, but what happened with the insurrection on January 6th. And now it's moving into other areas, not just news. Now it's hitting science with vaccines, and now it's into Cold War politics. I mean, the idea that we were talking about whether or not we should support Ukraine or Russia, there wouldn't be a Republican on the planet that 5 years ago would have said that they would have supported Russia over Ukraine. But this is where we are now. Conservative television news is certainly not the conservative news that was out there even just 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's stunning. And since the insurrection, you mentioned that, we've learned that some big names over at Fox were acting almost as advisors to Trump, like Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham. And then their text came out where, you know, it sort of suggests that they knew that there was a problem inside the Trump White House, and that problem being the president at the time. You worked at Fox. Does this surprise you that Fox anchors would be advising a president, advising a White House?
Not necessarily. I'm not sure that it doesn't happen on the other side as well, depending on who happens to be in the office. But I think the bigger story coming out of that is how disingenuous it was to be sending those texts of warning while then going on the air to the American people and doing a complete injustice and disservice by saying something completely opposite and ginning up this whole reaction that it was just fine and patriotic for people to be there on January 6th. You know, slowly but surely, this has morphed into eradicating any other point of view since the Trump era that is not just opinion. It's gone from an opinion, which was fine, to completely devolving into non-fact-based conspiracy theories and outright dangerous rhetoric in my mind. And I think it's a complete disservice to our country.
Totally. And there have been these bizarre moments when we've seen top Republicans like Senator Ted Cruz groveling on Tucker's show. I mean, did you ever think that day would come?
No. And, you know, I think that this is very upsetting to Republicans also, to be quite honest. I mean, I wish more of them would have the courage to do what I did, quite honestly, and come forward and take on a behemoth. But listen, for the safety of the Republican Party and for our democracy, I wish more would, because this is not going to end well in my mind. It's really hard to change people's opinions because they're only watching what they want to hear, you know, and that's the other problem that we have in society with the media right now, is that we're so siloed into only watching what we agree with. And so every day that thought process just gets reinforced time after time. I mean, there are some people, Jim, who actually, when I'm walking through the airport, still think that I work at Fox News.
Wow.
Because they watch only Fox News and they never covered my story there, obviously. And so, you know, that's what they see and what they hear. Now, that works on the other side, too. There's probably people that only watch other networks that have another point of view. But I think it's incredibly dangerous to have, there's a big difference between having a conservative opinion and having one that supports conspiracy theories.
Totally. And despite your concerns about our democracy, you are trying to utilize our democracy to make change. Wednesday, there's going to be a House vote on your bill, which you said will be one of the biggest accomplishments in your life. Do you have the votes, and tell us about it?
Well, thank you so much for asking about it. This has been my personal passion over the last 5 years since I did sue Fox News and Roger Ailes for harassment. So I'm trying to get rid of the silencing mechanisms, mainly forced arbitration for harassment and assault, that keeps all these issues silent in the workplace. It's strange bedfellows, Jim. I know you'll love this. The co-sponsors in the Senate are Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. It may be one of the few things they actually agree on, but they've both been champions of this. And I also have Republicans and Democrats in the House. It will be the biggest labor law change in the last 100 years, my biggest life accomplishment. But more importantly, this is going to change the landscape, making the workplace safer for millions of people. And I'll be incredibly proud when this moment happens.
Gretchen Carlson, my hat's off to you. Bringing Republicans and Democrats together, that's not easy these days. Even the president's having trouble with that. But thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for those perspectives. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jim.